On the pregame show with the head coach of the Penn-Trafford Warriors, John Ruane, as we get you ready for Penn-Trafford and Gateway Round 2 here tonight from Spartan Stadium. And, Coach, first we have to go back to last week's game. First of all, congratulations, your first win as a head coach in the postseason, and obviously the first win here at Penn-Trafford in the postseason since 1999 for football. So first, congratulations, and talk a little about how your players played in that pressure-packed situation last week against Bethel Park.
Thank you, first of all. It was a big win for the kids in the program and the school, so we're really happy that we pulled it out. We played outstanding defense a week ago, and we talked all week. We harped on how you have to play defense to win in the playoffs, and you know, our offense did okay. We didn't put the points on the board we needed to early on, but the defense, I mean, I don't know that Bethel Park crossed our 30 all night, and they really tightened it down when they had to. They came out and aligned everything Bethel did and played really hard. So that was a defensive effort. Obviously, when you shut a team out in the playoffs, it's a good defensive effort. And offensively, we did our thing. We ran the ball. We had a lot of penalties, which a lot of them were on third down conversions too, which really killed us. So that's something we have to eliminate this week.
Was the strategy last week, Coach, to kind of take the air out of the ball, so to speak, and really grind Bethel Park down using the running game and work the clock?
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, we have a pass plan every week. It just depends on the flow of the game and what we like. And, you know, we saw a couple looks we liked. We didn't anticipate Bethel keeping two safeties deep. So when they did, we decided, you know, we got 8 on 7, we're going to run the ball. So, you know, we look for that kind of stuff. We have plan A, plan B, and what we saw was plan B, so we stuck with it.
I know you didn't score as many points as you said as you wanted to last week, but you guys, again, still were able to run the ball very well. Manny Simpson, 29 carries last week, very effective, and the guys up front were pretty good too. Talk about the way you guys were able to run the ball last week against Bethel Park.
I think we did a good job. Actually, I think our best drive was when Manny was out of the game, and we killed 9 minutes off the clock without him. Just shows, you know, obviously Manny's an awesome player and bread and butter, but we have some other guys that can run the ball also, and really it's a show that our offensive line is really getting it done. So, you know, we're going to ride those guys the rest of the way as long as we last, and rightfully so. They've been our backbone all year.
And I know we've talked a lot about Joe Fiasco, but talk about his play last week as well.
Joe, we don't really skip a beat when we plug him in there. I know he's a little guy, but he's shifty, he has really good vision, and he runs hard. So whenever Manny needs a blow or we want to get a change of pace, I mean, he's a great guy to go to. He's been terrific for us.
And let's look ahead here to Gateway here tonight. First, I have to ask you about any kind of injury situation. How are you guys health-wise coming into tonight's game against Gateway?
Luckily, we're in really good shape. I mean, I think that's been part of our success is we haven't been getting those major injuries like we did a year ago. So we're very fortunate. Everyone's ready to go tomorrow night, so we'll be in good shape.
A couple of guys came back from injuries towards the end of the regular season. That, of course, Tanner Johnson, Zach Crossy. How'd those two play in your eyes last week?
I think they made a big difference, both sides of the football. You know, Zach is our center. He gets everything started. He gives us a lot of push on the inside, and he goes on defense and plays a good job at defensive end. And then Tanner Johnson's our leading tackler. I mean, you lose that, and you're losing a big heart and soul of your defense. So his presence inside really helped us out.
Let's revisit the win against Gateway earlier in the year, really springboard for you guys towards the rest of the season. Talk about just how big of a win that was for you at the time and just where you're at this point.
I mean, it was huge at the time. It was our first win over them in a long time. It was our first win over a quote-unquote ranked good opponent at the time. I mean, that's kind of ancient history now, though. I mean, we're 7 weeks later, and they're slightly different. We're slightly different. But we're both at the same spot we thought we'd be, you know, playing in the playoffs. And, you know, we're happy to play them. I mean, we want to play the best teams, and if you want to win the championship, this is what you got to do is go through a tough path. And they're playing as well as anybody right now. I mean, they're definitely fast, physical. They're opportunistic. They're creating a lot of turnovers, and their offense seems to be clicking at the right time. So they're a great team, and we definitely have our work cut out to play them.
Coach, when you look at the NFL, for instance, teams in the same division, you want to compare the Steelers and Ravens, they say how hard it is to beat a team 3 times in 1 year. This is kind of a unique situation because you play Gateway now twice in 1 season. I know it's kind of a cliche question maybe, but how tough is it to beat a team twice in 1 year?
I don't know. I mean, in my past playoff experiences, I swear when I was at Gateway, we played Penn Hills twice a year, every year it seemed like, and the winner of the first game always won the second game, so it's kind of the opposite of that. But it's tough because I think we're pretty evenly matched, and you know, we're going to have to get some breaks, and if they're going to win, they're going to have to get some breaks. And it's going to be tough regardless if this was our first or second time. But I think they're going to have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. We're going to have to withstand that, and we're going to have to play our game. So it's going to be difficult.
And from really both sides of the ball, but maybe even more towards the offensive side, does the play calling or does the game plan change at all because you faced them before? I mean, even on their side of things, but obviously I'm talking with you here tonight. What does anything change for you game plan-wise because you're facing them a second time?
Yeah, I think there were some plays that we look at on film and we throw out because we didn't like the way they looked the first time around, and we watched their film the last 7 weeks and see some of the minute changes they've made. They've done some different things alignment-wise, and we have to adjust to that. So there's definitely going to be some differences in our game plan. I mean, the game plan is going to be to run the ball and throw it when we can and take some shots and things like that. I mean, that doesn't change, but the actual where we do it and how we do it might change a little bit.
From what you've seen since you've played Gateway earlier in the year, Coach, are they playing? They seem like they're playing pretty darn well. To end the regular season, of course, last week, their victory as well.
Yeah, I mean, they look really good. They're definitely clicking on both sides of the ball. They seem to be playing as a team. They're definitely running the ball well. Tom Woodson's throwing the ball pretty well. And their defense is really hammering people. I think they've given up, 13 points in the last however many games with their starting unit in there, and that was against Central. So, yeah, they're definitely playing really well.
Coach, one final thing for you. You guys were able to contain Thomas Woodson minus, I guess, that unbelievable play in the two-point conversion attempt. But how were you able to contain him last time around? Only threw the ball 4 times. Do you expect to see that again here tonight?
No, I expect them to throw the ball a lot more, actually. But, that, again, it was dictated on how the game went. They were comfortable doing their power running game, and it was a quick game because both teams ran the ball a lot, and that's just the way the flow of the game went. I mean, it was effective for them. They had the lead with 1.5 minutes left, so I'm sure they're very happy with the way that went. But I do expect Tom to throw the ball more. He's shown it over the last few weeks that they're willing to put the ball in the air, so we're definitely expecting it.
Coach, good luck tonight against Gateway. Thanks a lot for your time, as always.
Thank you.
We'll be right back here on the pregame show, an interview with Pete Nestor right on the way.